Welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. My name's Mark, and I figure since it's summer, why not do a summer farm tour? Take you around the farm, show you all the animals, everything that's happening around here. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's going to be a hot one. It's currently 30 degrees Celsius. It's going up to about 33, which apparently is a 42 humidex. So I figured I'd get things started. It's only just after 10 o'clock now, and I figured I'd get this done before the heat of the day set in. So we're going to start things off in the rabbit hutch slash winter bird enclosure, I guess we'll call it. It started off as 2 rabbit hutches, and then we closed it in and changed the roof out last year. Now you notice here that I've got my Gallagher electric fence charger. If you've been watching the videos, you'll notice that it's moved. It used to be over by the house. It was just feeding the back electric fence, but I've made some modifications, got rid of the old one that I had for years, and mounted this nicely in here, so you got a clear view of the fence status, which it's showing all the way up full green. So it's just in a nice visual area that I like to see. We're out here quite often. In the rabbit hutch area here, there's quite a bit of hay in here still. We'll be clearing this out. It's just not a priority. We have a standard Rex in here. We've just got the 2 rabbits. One's the standard Rex, and the other one, I believe, just went outside. So they have a door going out here. It looks like she's in one of these compost bins. So these make a really nice little, there she is there. Staying out of the sun. It's got great ventilation because, of course, it is a compost. And then this lid just pops on the top like that. You know, you throw some hay in there, some straw, some hay in there, and you've got a few nice little houses. This here was an old captain's bed frame. There was 2 halves of it. There's a half here, and then there's another half over by the pond. And they go together, and then of course there's usually drawers on this side. And it's been sitting here for quite a few years, and it's just an area that they can get out of the sun and get into some cool ground. Oh, these Muscovy ducks. You know, they are some of the friendliest birds, you know, in the ducks themselves. Like, they just, they're the largest breed of duck. The male Muscovy is the largest duck. And they just follow you around. The females not so much. They just run to sit on their eggs and squeak a little bit. These guys just walk around and talk. Hey boys. So in here we have our the new chickens that came in a couple weeks ago now. We had one of our neighbors that passed away of cancer, and the person that was in charge of his estate came over, and we said, well, we'll buy the chickens off of the estate. So they're all in here. There's a bunch of Isa Browns in here. We still do have the peahens. One of them just went in the building there, and there's another one right here. So we did lose Prince the peacock this past year, and we were going to rehome them, but as it turns out, we haven't heard back anything about the females, so we'll just leave them as such. So we've got a few ducks in here that like to go across the highway. So we are right on the highway. The highway is just up front there, and these ducks are kind of they're in quarantine because they were wandering. They like the ditch up front and all of the bountiful things that it holds. Some of the pigeons are in here. Some are also inside, and we've got our sheep. Turbo, what are you doing, bud? What are you doing in there, buddy? So they are going to get sheared soon. Tara was working on the alpaca, but we're going to hold off on doing the sheep ourselves until we get somebody. The guy we used last few years, he was retired, and now his phone is disconnected. So even though it is hot, the wool on them actually does act as an insulation to keep the heat out. So it kind of works both ways, to keep the heat in the winter as well as to keep the heat out during the summer. And they like lying down in these cool areas because their belly doesn't have nearly as much wool as their back does. Hey, Turbo? Yeah, it's hot out there, eh? Yeah. So that is going to be coming up. Hopefully soon we'll get that all figured out. There's a pigeon over here. It seems like an odd place for a nest. But she was sitting here. No, there's no egg there. Okay, I don't know. She was sitting there yesterday. But they usually nest up in here. And then up, they've got there's a few nests up in the rafters as well, as you can see there. So they hang around. It's really nice to see them fly around in the morning. We come out onto the deck and you just see them flying up and around and gliding. We did have them inside, quite a few of them inside, but the population was getting to be a little bit large, and we figured, well, let's let them outside. We had them flying outside years ago, and it's just so nice. They stay in the area, and it's so nice to see them fly around. So while I'm in here, look who joined me. So this is George. He came in last year. He is a year old, and if you look over to get a size comparison, it's not the best because they're not standing beside each other, but Moira, which came in a couple years ago, a year and a half ago, she is a smaller breed of sheep. So she's a miniature, and she is obviously itchy. Hey, Moira. But she has gotten a lot better. She was really just terrified of people. She's still, you know, a little skittish now, but it's really good to see. We had them in the front pen, in our smaller pen with Sheldon, but we put them we put them in this larger area, and they've just been thriving. Seen running around and playing. Do you want to scratch? You probably don't know. You don't want me to do the scratching, do you? So that is George and Moira. George is a year, and Moira is probably about 3 or 4 years old, but considerably smaller. What is all the noise out here? Bronwyn. Oh, Turbo came out here. Turbo found the shade over there. Bronwyn and Tinker. So these guys are Canadian Arcot sheep. What? What is it? And then we have Daisy. Daisy has been doing extremely well. She came in last year and her feet were in really bad shape. You can see this foot here is still, you know, a little kind of shoe-shaped. It should look more like this over here, more straight to the ground. But when she came in, she just hobbled off of the trailer. Look at that. Look at that. You know, we brush them and brush them, and this is just their coat shedding out. Hey, girl. So they've been, she's been doing really well with the other ponies. Quite often seen running around in the back. She can't quite keep up with Levi and Meadow, but she does a good job of it. They do listen to her, so she seems like she's more the respected one. She'll actually walk back to the gate over there, and then she'll call out, and you'll see Levi and Meadow come running back. So it's kind of cute that way. She's doing excellent. She's probably going to reach her 100% with her foot, her last foot there this year. But she's doing really good. Atlas the Sarama rooster, he's been pretty popular here on the farm when people come and visit, because he just follows you around, kind of like Fernando the turkey. Not sure where Fernando is right now, but I'm sure we'll see him. Bronwyn is a cross. She is a Dorper cross. The Dorper sheep are haired sheep, not wool. So in the spring, she had all kinds of wool hanging off her. There's still a little bit on the back end, on the tail, but that will just fall off, and she just naturally sheds it off. Oh, look at this, Levi. Hi, Levi. How you doing, buddy? Are you back with Meadow? I see she's not far behind. These, you know, Levi and Meadow are pretty much inseparable. So Levi is Meadow's dad. It was Levi and 2 female ponies came in. Of course, they didn't think that Levi had it in him and was big enough, but he sure was. And Meadow here was born on the farm last year. So she is a year old. Her mother and we call her the aunt, her mother's sister, they went off to training, and they have, I believe they're staying at that TNT Farms where they went to. You know, when they headed off, the lady that runs that, Tara, she said, well, you know, I don't know if I'll be able to rehome them because they're such good and smart ponies. So it looks like they're going to stay over there. And Marley's the only one that Tara hasn't started to shear. She did start to shear Paula. Paula just loves the stream. I'm surprised she's not lying down, and she may lie down right away. Oh, no, it looks like she might. There she goes. Yep, I called it. That is so cool, isn't it, Paula? On hot days, you'll find Paula right there. And then we've got some ducks in here. So these are rowan ducks, male and a female. Meadow, show us your big blue eyes. Show us your big blue eyes, girl. Yeah. Oh, you got a mosquito. Oh, get that. Yeah, the bugs haven't been too bad. We do have some citronella bug spray for equine. We've been spraying them down, keeping the bugs off of them, which can be a challenge. We've got lots of duckweed on the pond, so the ducks have been enjoying that. And we have the pigs. This is an area where the pigs have been hanging out. Nice and cool, right, Petey? I don't know where Piper is. Oh, she's coming. She's coming. She must have, I don't know where she went. She was over here. So what they're doing is he's just digging right down into the mud and getting all kinds of little grubs and seeds and all kinds of different stuff. Their nose is extremely sensitive, but he's obviously just feeling around from whatever he can find down there. He was at it yesterday as well, the 2 of them. I took some pictures of them there. Yep, hanging out in the water, playing in the mud. That's what it's all about on a hot summer day. Okay, into the smaller front pen here with Sheldon. So the reason why Sheldon is up in this pen and not in the main pen is because, well, he was... What are you doing, buddy? You're silly. He is special. Now, he was born 3 years ago, I think it was. And, yeah, what are you doing? Are you excited? And he couldn't stand, he couldn't walk, he couldn't feed. So he had what we like to call autism. He needed a bunch of work in the beginning. Oh, what are you doing? You're silly. He gets these little bouts of stud goatism, we'll call it, where he acts really silly. Of course, he is fixed, but it's just in your nature, isn't it, buddy? What are you doing, Hazel? You scratching the chair to get things comfortable? I don't think that's really going to work. Sheldon, what are you doing? So Hazel is just over a year old, and then we have Princess, and we have little Rue here. And Rue, come here, bud. He has just the markings on him are beautiful. Oh, Sheldon. Oh, yeah. Okay. But he is, we figure he is pygmy / alpine. There's probably a combination in there. Oh, but he can jump. This is one thing that they all like scratches between the horns because they can't reach that. But he can easily jump up on this picnic table, and what they do is they grab these tree leaves, the willow trees, And the other day, I looked out and I saw them over here. And they like to climb up on there, and little Rude jumped, and he must have come up almost to the umbrella and landed on the ground. He is just, he's quite the jumper. Right, Atlas? You're just gonna follow me around, right? Yeah. Oh, Sheldon. What is it, Sheldon? Come here, Sheldon. Sheldon! Come here, Sheldon. Come here, buddy. Who's the king of the castle? Who is it? Hey? Yes. Yeah. Who is it? Sheldon. What are you doing? Hi, bud. Hi. Is this your favorite toy? Is it? Yeah? I found Fernando. Fernando, what are you doing? You want to go inside? Oh yeah, you're going to show off, aren't you? All right. So visitors will be here in a couple hours, so he will then be happy to see them. Right, Hazel? Oh, looks like Paula's up from her little dip, and Shanzy has come in. So Tara did shear Shanzy here. She left a little bit on the head and a little bit on the legs. Hi, girl. Yeah. You gonna go for a dip in the water like your sister? I think it's time for shade. Hey, Marley. They've got a few, there's probably about 5 different pee and poop stations. Alpacas will go in the same spot. So it makes it very easy for us to pick it up and put it on our gardens, along with rabbit poop, because it doesn't burn. So it works out really well. Horse and cow, you've got to let compost for the year. But rabbit and alpaca you can put right on the garden. We'll head back and see the garden in a little bit. Show you the progress that we've made. There's the greenhouse there, and then the garden kind of extends around the corner. Yeah, it's starting to get a little humid. I'm over at the west side of our property, and this is where we keep our hay. So this barn here, we bought the property in '97, and in '98 we built this barn. And it was primarily to house things to work the land. This was all heavily treed, so things like a mower, bush trimmers, and just storage stuff for out here. Since we came out and we would, possibly camp over the weekend on certain times, it was nice to have some kind of shelter we could hang out. Our firstborn, Braxton, was just born. He was a year old, so of course we had to have the toddler, the crib with the screen and the screen over top, so there were no bugs. So that was actually the first building that was built, and it was built mostly with reusable product. All the framing of it was all done with crate 2x4s from Tara's father. Used to work at a manufacturing facility, and they had all the crates that they disassembled, and they had the wood for people to take home and burn or do whatever. So we built a barn out of it. And then the steel, I worked for a company that was in the steel business, and I ended up getting a really good price on the steel. I designed the trusses for that. It's kind of that hipped roof kind of idea, the classic barn style. And then this area here, which has grown up considerably again, we did clear it out, but this is where we would have for an isolation pen. If a pony, horse came in, this would be the first area of contact on our property. So electric fencing running along here as well, and then we're going to see if we can find the mamas and the babies. This is looking directly south along our western property line. And here you can see the temporary fence posts that are in. Some of them are put into trees. Eventually we would like to get a permanent solution for fencing, but it's just going to cost too much to do it all at once. So we will do it slowly. It looks like we lost yet another tree. So the problem is with these trees is, of course, the root ball is so small. They grow up so tall. This is a poplar. I think in the US you call them an aspen, I believe it is, or something around that. But here in Canada we call them poplars. You can see an oak tree here, so there's some other trees in the area, but mostly it's all these poplars. So we have been replanting Manitoba maple and willow and silver maple just to kind of get some diversity, because as you can see on the ground here, over the years, even, you know, well before we bought the property, there's been trees that have been falling, and they just grow straight up and they fall straight down. So now I'm at the back of the property. This oak is a nice full oak. So some of them do grow up. I guess it depends on how much light they get. We're back here at the railway track. So this is the south end of the property. And here is actually another nice oak. So they will grow up. I guess maybe it just takes them some years to get established, and then they will start to blossom out. So there's quite a few oak back here. You can see there's a big cluster of them. This is almost all oak right at the back of the property line. All right, so I see a kid goat. That looks like Baxter and April. Oh yeah, here we go. We're back in business. We got Dwight over here. So Dwight, Charlotte, and Toby, I don't know where they are, but this is, no, this is Toby. Hi, Toby. He's the darker one. Dwight's the lighter one. They will probably be going to a new home. The previous owner, they came in because the owner had to move out of her house and onto from a ranch, move in with her mother in town, in the city, and she couldn't have them. But she requested that both Toby and Dwight get rehomed together because they are brothers and they are best friends. So the three of them actually, Charlotte came in with them. I'm not sure where Charlotte is, but I'm sure we'll find her. So here, yeah, here they are. I must have just missed them. So we have Bonnie over here and Clyde, which are Blackie's two kids. And here's Charlotte. There's Charlotte there. Then we have Billie Jean here. Hi, Billie Jean. And we have Holly. And what are you guys all doing? So there's Dwight. Dwight's there. We've got Blackie, and we have Petunia and her two little ones, Melvin and Molly. And they're just kind of hanging out under this tree. It's a hot one, isn't it? Hi, Blackie. So Blackie's been hilarious with Tara and the garden. Tara's been throwing weeds over the fence. And of course Blackie's just right there to get them. So now whenever she sees somebody at the back of the property, or at the back of the house, she has to run over and call out and start calling for us. It's like, no, we're all done. We're all weeded, right? Look at everybody. There's Charlotte. Hi, girl. So yeah, the three of them may not be in the next video. So we'll find out. We've got a lady coming, I believe it's today. And we do have to rehome them. It's not that we don't love them and want them, but we're only allowed so many animals on the property. So to be able to help other animals, we need to move out some of the ones that we have. Hi, geese. Did you guys just have a bath? Oh yeah, nothing like it, eh? Yeah. So those are Czech geese. And the other ones are over on the other side. With Moira's over there, and we've got Charlotte, George, and then we've got the other geese over there. Yes, Holly, are you still on your chair? Are you still on your chair? got to be way hotter than 30 degrees now. It's been an hour and a half I've been wandering around, a good portion of it looking for those goats. So I'm up here with the final animals, I believe. I think I got everybody else. And we've got Choco, which came in last week. So he's doing great up here. He's fitting right in. Can we see you? You're in the dark, buddy. Hi. Yeah, he's doing really well. And then we have the other two hanging out under their favorite tree with their favorite rock. It's Billy and Carl. Now, somebody in one of the last videos commented since Billy was so rough and tough, he would probably have castrated him long before now. But he's actually not bad. He's really nice with humans. They both are. And it's about, you know, respect. I'm respecting him. He needs to respect me. Of course, if you give animals respect, they're likely going to give it back to you. Although you'll have some cases where that may not be the case. Hey, bud? Yes, you're just a good boy. Yeah. So something that happened last week, I believe it was Wednesday, Flora, that was up here. We put her up here because, you know, there's a few different reasons. There's lots of food up here for her to graze on, as well as she was headbutting some of the people, and she didn't have her manners in place. So we put her up here, and of course Billy and Flora kind of went at it. They sorted things out, and then it was all great after probably about an hour, 45 minutes. But then we got contacted later on that night by the previous owner. So we had taken Flora in for a spell, and she said she wanted to come pick her up. So she actually came in on Wednesday, and we picked Flora up, and she has now gone back to her home. Okay, what are you doing? Those horns, hey, when they get up under your shirt, and then he, of course, starts to play and wrestle, he's like, oh, this is fun. Hey, bud, come here. Come here. Come here. Let me rub ya. You just got to watch you don't get poked with them, right, bud? And I have shown with Carl, it was a couple years ago when we were, actually it might have even been last year, we were putting the outside on that building, and Carl would jump up on his hind legs and come in, but then he would stop short. So they do have quite a bit of respect. Hey Carl, you checking out the tripod? So his fur is doing really well. So if you missed it, he was thinning out, and he was losing some fur. We put coconut oil on. It could have likely been some parasites, which we do everything naturally here on the farm. And coconut oil, DE, fireplace ash, those are all things that we use. So Tara put some coconut oil on him, and his fur is now back 100%, so he's doing good. Are you going to be a camera guy? Camera goat, sorry? So, you know, look at that fur. Look at that fur. Oh, you could see his skin last time. He is starting to get a little thin. He's starting to get a little older. Hey, what are you in goat years? 50? Heading back to the garden. Tara has started to plant some things outside here, but then realized the wild rabbits were starting to eat her plants. So I think she's got some rhubarb in there. So she put up this this fencing here. Now we've got this closed off. This is all part of the shelving that we got last year, and this is primarily for Fernando because he comes in and he'll start plucking away at the little seedlings. And here's Tara working hard in the garden. What you doing, Tara?
Making hooks out of the metal so I can put my
okay, yeah,
lower my baskets.
All right, so this is our trellis, and it looks like she's using yet again another. This is part of the tensioning system of the racks. That looks like she's cut in half and bending into a hook to lower her plants. Now this was something that
cuckoo melons.
Cuckoo melons.
Cuckoo melons.
So she came home the other day with these cuckoo melons.
You have to see them.
Oh, are they starting?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, there they are. So I guess they're about the size of cherry tomatoes?
About an inch long.
Oh.
Yeah, cuckoo melons.
There's her cuckoo melons.
That's from that other girl that I watch.
Roots and
farmer.
Refuge?
What?
Roots and Refuge?
Roots and Refuge.
Yeah.
I saw her cucamelons and I was like, oh, okay. I need to get me some of those.
Yeah. So Tara's been getting all kinds of good ideas. We've Roots and Refuge is part of our Gallagher partnership. So there's about 6. I think there's 6 of us. I'm the only one in Canada, and then there's 5 other parties in the U.S. So I checked out some of their channels, and Tara really seems to like Roots and Refuge. So they've got quite a bit of gardening going on. It's primarily gardening is their channel. They do have some animals. So what? How are things looking? Like I see the peas.
Well, this is all beans and peas. So these are your
these are beans and peas. Yep.
These are your peas.
Yeah. So these are peas here, right?
Yeah. So we're just starting to get to the edge.
Starting to get to the edge to grow up.
These are more pole beans, so I may have to let them get pretty long before I tag them over.
Yeah.
But once they're tagged, then they grow straight up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, nice. So I think that'll work good. So we've seen some really good growth over the past
we
week.
had a little bit of yellowing from the rain. We had like a week of rain, but now they're out of it. This side is the broccoli really started taking off. So we'll see if I get broccoli at the end of the season. They might be too small. I replanted more beets. Obviously, there was a pack of beets that wasn't very.
Wasn't good.
Wasn't good. So then there's beets, more peas, onions, carrots, and a lot of people pay attention to what you can eat the tops of, because you can also add carrot tops to your salad. So, which is cool. More to eat. More to eat. The tomatoes are really doing well. Did you show them the difference last time?
With what? Oh, the
tomatoes inside.
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, so we're trying things in and out. You gotta turn around and look at the salad bar, because it's like...
Yeah, we're gonna have to make a salad tonight.
Yeah.
Because that's looking really good.
So what we don't pick, what we don't eat, then we'll feed to the animals. So this is the spicier stuff and radishes. And at the end of the season, we'll probably have a pot full of radishes. Cucumbers are all coming up. So they shouldn't take long in here to come. They've only been in there about a week. Okay, so tomatoes, you see the size of them in here. These I started in January in the house. And before we go outside, you guys look at them. All the peppers are coming up. So this was just a bag of mixed peppers, so we don't know what we're getting. This is the surprise peppers for Mark's.
Oh yeah.
For Mark.
Hot peppers.
Yeah. Have you ever shown the seeds?
No.
So these are all the seeds that we order in, and then we sell, either grow or sell the extras and that kind of stuff, and it helps pay for the seeds that we get here.
A lot of the seeds you've dried out on your own, right?
Yeah, this section is all my garden flowers, and then of course next year I'll harvest my seeds. It's just cool to be able, I never have to buy those seeds again. You buy one plant or one pack, and then you never buy them again. So anyways, this is the biggest tomato in here, and then go outside. The Brussels sprouts really like it in here.
Yeah, so these are the Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts really like it in here. And those peas outside are about 3 weeks old. These are only a week. So again, the humidity in here, they like it. Not the direct sun, but the sun.
Well, and we've added this ventilation fan here. So this is exhausting out. It's a fair-sized ventilation fan, exhausting out. And I've got it set on a controller that I picked up. This is actually an old power supply out of a computer. And if you look closely, you can see it's 43.2 degrees, 43.1 degrees in here. It's hot. So it's running through this temperature control, which I've placed about this area, kind of about the mid area. And it is pretty hot in here, 43 degrees. It's windy outside, but it's it's a warm one in here.
Okay, so last look at the tomatoes.
Okay, tomatoes.
And then so these are all tomatoes, but these ones were seeded in here 3 weeks ago. I just kind of spread them out, but these were 3 weeks ago. These were put in here, and these are the same age as the tomatoes in the barn.
So you're saying that they enjoy it outside more than inside the greenhouse?
It's rabbit poop.
Oh, gotcha.
Compost.
Okay, and the other one is the bales with alpaca and rabbit poop sprinkled on top.
Well, just alpaca.
Okay.
So the rabbit poop, if you got a rabbit poop source, it's all the hay and everything from the bottom of the rabbit hutch.
Yeah, so we cleaned out the rabbit hutch and just put it right in there and mix it all up.
Yeah, it's really hot. It stays moist. They love it. Because of the way I did it lower, I'll never see it again, like in the house.
Yeah.
I will just plant out here and then pull from that bed to plant all my tomatoes. Because they're a little tall, but there was hundreds of them in there.
Well, and you sprinkled a bunch in there not knowing if the pack was good.
Right.
And it just flourished.
Yeah.
So they ended up transplanting a whole bunch of these out of there because
now
they were
giving
just
away black cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, so they kind of took off. So the bushes on this side, these are the, what did you say they were?
Raspberries.
The raspberries, right.
From a friend of mine, Patricia, and we transplanted them this year. She said we wouldn't get fruit, but I have been watering them 10 seconds with the hose every night, and almost every one of them has raspberries.
Yeah, you can see
So we
them
got
growing.
about 60 plants, and I lost 2 out of the bunch.
And she's planted them all along the edge here.
Well, the animals will be able to keep that side under control, and then I just have to worry about one side controlling, because they'll run. But then I'll have raspberries to give away too.
Fernando, what are you doing, bud? He's now back here. I guess he heard us.
Do you realize how hot it is? You should show them your face right now.
I know. It's very humid out.
Mark feels the heat a lot more than I do.
Yeah, like I'm
sweating right now.
Yeah, Tara doesn't sweat. Well, actually, yeah, you are sweating a little bit.
I'm sweating right now.
I can see some.
Sweat.
Yeah, no, I don't like the heat. It's just, I tend to sweat quite a bit. So on the outside of the trellis, yeah, you've got your rock garden here.
Yeah, and they're all coming. So the ones that I had, and then the ones like mint is all coming up. You can't really see, it's tiny. The yarrows all started to come up. And these are all ones you can use for teas and stuff. So you can see the little baby yarrows.
Yeah.
So they'll all come up, and that's something that comes back every year. I just pulled that tree from the front, so it looks a little sad right now, but it'll perk back up. When you're transplanting trees, you want to pull all the leaves, and I didn't, so now they're all dry. But you pull all the leaves so the tree doesn't struggle and it can focus on the roots. But all the leaves should be removed from any tree that you transplant. It just roots faster. And then there's our little sitting area. The boys added a hammock.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm trying something different here. I'm trying plants in different, because of the way the rabbit poop worked. This is duck. This is straight alpaca poop. And this is chicken. So I wanted to see just how they kind of interact. And then we're going to do a compost tea too. That's what the new white bucket is for.
Oh, okay, so you just...
Poop line, poop fence line.
So the compost tea is not something you drink.
Right.
It is a bunch of manure that you put into a container such as that, and you water your plants with them.
I'll probably make like a big tea bag so that I can lift it up and shake it, and then because you're supposed to stir it, but in that container you might not be able to get down right to the, you know what I mean, stir the bottom.
Get a big enough stick, but yeah.
So I figure I'll just get a great big tea bag.
That's good. Making tea.
Water garden. This is, it's actually coming back really nicely. This is, anyways, it's a really nice flower. I'm going to think of it later. I froze it last year. It got frozen, so it is coming back. And our duckweed.
Yeah, our duckweed. Same duckweed that's on the pond.
Yeah, well, it's getting ready for the turtles.
Yeah. So, and speaking of the, oh, that's nice.
I know. But there shouldn't be mosquitoes in there either because of the duckweed.
Yeah.
There's leeches, but when the baby turtles come.
Yeah, so somebody had asked about the baby turtles. They said, or the eggs. We've got them in here. They said, have they hatched yet? No, turtle eggs take 150 days
No,
to...
90.
Oh, sorry, 90.
80 to
150.
90.
I'm thinking of goats. Goats take 150.
80 to 90 days.
90 days, yeah, 80 to
And-
90. So we're looking at the end of August,
Yeah.
beginning of September.
So then what will happen is, because of the temperature and because they're being raised here, it probably will take a little bit longer. And when we did that before, we actually had to keep the turtles over the winter and then release them in the spring. And we'll release them down Lake of the Woods and on the river. Or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are the tomatoes that you
Yeah.
pulled. Some of them anyway.
Yeah. There's a lot more too.
Yeah. And then people asked about Gerda as well. They said, who's that creepy guy that's standing there? So tell us Gerda's story.
Well, there's a family that live in our area who, his garden is amazing, or their garden is amazing. And his brother was supposed to come visit one year, and he didn't. So he made this and put it out front of his house. But it kind of looks like him, the neighbor, or the friend. So they're moving back to the Netherlands. And so they had a garage sale, and they're selling off a lot of the stuff. Well, of course, you're not going to haul this guy back to the Netherlands. So I'm like, well, I want him. Because his garden is amazing. So I call him Gerda. And he is going to watch over my garden and make sure that it grows really well.
You should maybe put a hoe and
Right? Instead of a saw.
replace the saw with
I
a
like the
hoe
saw.
or something.
But what's cool is last year when we raised the baby deer in here, and it ate my garden, which is good because the deer's now alive and free. Gerda, he gave me a lot of veggies and stuff because I didn't grow any. So he was awesome, and I appreciate it. So he'll always be in Enola. You can come visit him. He'll scare away everybody, even the guests.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. There's tomatoes coming on that one down at the end. They're coming.
Oh,
They're
actually, I did see it the other day. Yes,
Yeah,
there
they're
were
about
some.
coin size.
There were some little tomatoes. These ones are just
So it should be
flowering right
long.
now. So yeah.
And then we'll continue this down here.
Yeah, so she wants to build this same kind of thing over in this area here. She was playing around with a half unit to see how that would work, but she didn't care for that too much. So over here is the trees that we've been collecting from seedlings around the yard. There's still quite a few around.
See that?
Moss, yeah, I heard you
I was
say you were
weeding up
collecting.
there, and my girlfriend really likes moss, so I got her a bunch of moss and kept it for her. So daylilies, maples, silver maple, fern. These are all orange daylilies. Our lettuce that we just decided to grow. This is all rhubarb. I forget, I'll see when it comes up. Onions, coneflower, chicks and hens, the ivy, because we want to put some up front, so we're actually pulling the stragglers and replanting them so that we can put them up front when it's ready.
Okay.
And more raspberries that will come back. They just need lots of water. Cinnamon basil, which, Mark, have you smelt this?
No, I have not.
Holy. Look.
Is it? Smells good.
Well, and the one back there is a chocolate basil,
Oh.
or chocolate mint. Oh. Castor beans, that's Braden's babies. A lot of oyster, marshmallow, that's the one I forgot. And so I'm just pulling from the yard. These are more hollyhocks that I got to put in. Daisies, Peepin' Charlie. I don't know the name of this one. We will figure it out. And then it's this high when it's full grown, and these purple flowers. It almost looks like a bee balm of some sort, but no, doesn't look like my bee balm. Then we got the catnip, which is ready for harvesting again. You see when you get the flowers, you want to pull it so that it keeps growing. So we'll pull the flowers, dry them for the cats. More hollyhocks. This is wild mint. So if you find a spot in the bush, you can, yeah, there's tons of it in our ditches. So look at these peas though. So these ones are a week younger, but they absolutely love it. Those should be flowering very soon. Yeah. So you gotta, trial and error. What spots they like better.
Yeah. And then potatoes.
Oh, I have, these are those edible flowers. Edible flowers are coming up. Oh, there's a big one. There, I got them planted in amongst my nasturtium. Nasterium. So, potatoes, yeah. So when you see them flowering, look, there's peas. Struggling to. There's peas back.
Oh yeah.
They're supposed to be growing up the post, but they're growing up the potatoes. So I'll add more soil to the top of this after I pull my wild hollyhocks that just decided, we found out what they are. They're hollyhocks. And onions. Yeah.
So there's the temperature, 32.3 degrees Celsius, 48% humidity. So it's 12:30. So one thing I wanted to mention about the greenhouse. So the ventilation system that I have is an old blower fan that we picked up years ago. And what I had done out in the chicken coop, or in the animal building inside, is I installed a mercury switch, but I had to wire up a relay and a bunch of other things. So I went and looked online when I was looking at this because I wanted a controller that would come on at, say, 30 degrees Celsius and then shut off when it hit that, so it would stay warm at night. What I still need to do is take ducting because it's pulling the air from the bottom of the greenhouse. I want it to pull higher where the heat is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some kind of maybe rectangular ducting or build something, and I'll come out the bottom and then bring it up to about 6 feet high. Now what I did is I looked online, I found this, it's called Inkbird, this is the company, and this is an Inkbird temperature controller, the ITC100, and it's a 100 volt controller. I ended up buying 2 of them. I was thinking about replacing the one out in the barn with this one, but it comes with your temperature control sensor, and it's a quite a long one. It's about 5 feet long or so. Some reading material, and then you've got this. It actually looked a lot larger. It looked like a car stereo deck, that size. And then it came in the mail in a little package, and it's just this little guy here. So it's really nice to mount. You take this screw off. It's got all of the wiring diagrams here on the top. It's focusing on my face. There we go. You've got the wiring, and it's good for cooling as well as heating. So on the front here, you can see that it is. It's got a cool and a heat setting, and you can set it all up, and it's completely digital. And it just installs just like a car deck, really. You take these little clips and you pull them back, and then you make a hole, you slide it in, and it just tightens in. So if you are interested in some kind of temperature controller, this one was $23 Canadian, and it shipped out of Calgary, Alberta. So I'll put the link, I think it was Amazon I bought it off of. I'll put the link down in the description if you are interested in that. This is not sponsored by Inkbird. I just found them, and I really like it. So if you're interested, go on there and have a peek at that. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't include the cats, which we've got 7 black cats in the house, which maybe I'll do a video on that. Our cats and our stories. So until next week, stay cool. Canada Day is coming up on Wednesday, and then Independence Day for you Americans next weekend. So have a wonderful time off if you're taking any time off, and we'll see you next video. Take care. Bye-bye.